Have you ever witnessed a miracle that made your heart stop and then beat louder than ever before? Well, buckle up, because by the time you finish this story, you won't just believe in miracles, you'll believe in people. Before we begin, take a moment. If this story moves you, touches your soul, or reminds you of what true courage looks like, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this deserve to be remembered, and you being here makes it possible to share them with the world. Now, let me take you back to a quiet town on the edge of the city, where two completely different worlds collided, one of unimaginable wealth, and the other of quiet, uncelebrated sacrifice. She was born into everything: fame, wealth, security. Elena Hawthorne, the only daughter of Thomas Hawthorne, the tech billionaire who revolutionized artificial intelligence and practically built an empire before turning 40. But no amount of money, no fleet of doctors, no top-tier therapy could change the truth written in the child's medical charts: Elena couldn't walk. She had been diagnosed with spastic diplegia cerebral palsy at birth, and for 12 long years, her legs had never taken a single step. Her world was a wheelchair. Her playground was the garden terrace of her father's glass mansion. And her only real friend? A golden retriever named Scout, who never left her side. Thomas Hawthorne could buy nations, but he couldn't buy a miracle. And that helplessness tortured him more than anything. So he shut the world out. A rotating team of therapists came and went, each leaving with a respectful silence and nothing more. Until one day, a stranger knocked on the gate, not with a polished resume, but with a dog-eared folder and a quiet confidence that cut through all the noise. His name was Jack Reed. A single father, a war veteran, and a man with nothing but a second-hand truck, an old service dog named Bear, and a heart full of hope. He wasn't a licensed therapist. He didn't have degrees from Ivy League schools. What he had was lived experience. His son, Ben, had once lost the ability to walk after a devastating accident. Everyone had given up, except Jack. And 3 years later, Ben was not just walking, but running marathons. Jack didn't come asking for money. He didn't want a job. All he wanted was a chance. Thomas didn't want to give it to him. Who was this man to think he could do what the world's best doctors couldn't? But Elena, quiet, watchful, and tired of being a patient instead of a person, asked her father just one question: "Can I try?" And that's how it began. The first session was nothing but conversation. Jack sat on the floor while Bear rested his head on Elena's feet. He didn't ask her to do anything. He just listened. Day after day, week after week, he told her stories, not of war, not of injury, but of strength. Of falling 7 times and standing up 8. Of believing when no one else does. He brought Ben with him, too. A boy just a few years older than Elena, full of mischief and movement, who never looked at her chair with pity, only curiosity. The three of them started a strange kind of friendship, built not on sympathy, but stubborn hope. Then came the real work. Jack's method wasn't traditional. He used music, movement, dog therapy, games that made Elena laugh so hard she forgot she was scared. And when she cried, and she did, many times, he didn't flinch. He let her feel it all. He taught her that strength wasn't pretending not to be hurt, it was showing up anyway. Thomas watched from behind tinted glass windows, slowly dropping his disbelief. Something was changing. Not just in Elena, but in himself. He started coming to the sessions. Sitting. Then clapping. Then cheering. 3 months in, Jack set up a balance harness in the garden. "Today," he said, "you don't have to walk. You just have to stand." It took 20 minutes, tears, a near panic attack, and then it happened. Elena stood. Wobbly. Terrified. Glorious. Her arms reached out and grabbed Jack's, her feet trembling beneath her. And then, a laugh, deep, uncontrollable, burst from her chest. She hadn't just stood. She had felt her body hold her up. Thomas broke down in the garden that day, burying his face in his hands. And it didn't stop there. Over the next 6 months, the story of Elena's progress began to spread, quietly at first, whispered between nurses and therapists who couldn't believe the change. But Elena didn't want the world watching her learn to walk. Not yet. She wanted to surprise them. She had a plan. And Jack didn't just teach her how to walk. He reminded her how to live. There were setbacks, of course. Days where her muscles refused to cooperate. Nights where Thomas questioned if he'd made a mistake. But Jack never lost faith, not in Elena, not in the process. Then came her 13th birthday. Thomas had planned a quiet dinner, but Elena had other plans.